Okay, this video is just going to show you how you use the unit circle to find an exact value of a trig function. So I have the unit circle drawn on here. The idea is you're using the thought that you have a right angle here, right triangle here. And from the video you found out the cosine was generally the x values, sine was the y, and tangent was the y over x. So cosine sine kind of goes alphabetically, C then S. So the x and the y goes alphabetically also. That's how I remember it. So cosine goes with the x, sine goes with the y. Tangent is the reverse of what I would think. It's y over x, not alphabetical. Okay, so to use this, the idea is these are all quadrantal angles. So right here, let's see, that would be at 0 degrees. If you follow the line all the way up, if you follow the angle all the way up to here, that spot would be 90 degrees. So that's where I'm looking at. All right, if I follow my angle all the way over to here, okay, that angle would be 180 degrees. If I follow my angle from all the way around to over here, right here, that angle would represent 270 degrees. And then if I kept going all the way around the whole circle, I would get back here to, it's 0 to start with, but if I went all the way around the whole circle, that would be 360. So at 0, there's actually 2 answers, and you'll learn more next year about how you can keep looping around here and that all these angles have more than one answer. Okay, so we just looked at the positive version, and generally that's what we're going to look at. If I went the opposite direction, that would be the negative values, but right now I'm just going to look at the positive values. So the idea is if I'm looking at 90 degrees, okay, again, I'm not going to get, the problem is if I have a 90-degree angle, if I were to draw a triangle, I would no longer have like a hypotenuse, I guess, for this. So these guys are all listed right there. Those are all quadrantals. So my quadrantal angles are 0, 90, 180, 270, 270, 360. Okay, these are all my quadrantal angles because they're all right on a line. So they're literally on the axes. Okay, so those go, so anytime I ask about one of those angles, your thought is it's going to be a quadrantal. I'm not going to do the opposite over adjacent or hypotenuse. I'm not going to use that concept. I'm going to use this quadrantal idea. So if I said, what's the sine of 90? You're going to think, well, I talked about, Mr. O'Brien told me that the sine of 90 was the y value. So I'm going to use my y value at 90 degrees. So at 90 degrees, my point is 0, 1. Okay? And we just said that for sine, we want the y value. So that's this guy here. So then you're going to write down for my answer is 1. And that's all you got to do. Okay, so for cosine, now I see 180, bam, that's on a line, that's up here, so 180 is right here. Okay, so my brain says, okay, that's not going to be where I'm going to do adjacent over hypotenuse. I'm going to think about the quadrantal part of it, and I'm going to think about the point there. So the point there is -1, 0. Okay, and my brain says, all right, we talked about the fact that cosine is my x value. About this over here, cosine is my x value, so I want the x value for my answer, so I'm going to use the x value and write that down. So I'm going to put in -1 for this one. Okay, so tangent, my next one I gave you is tangent of 90, all right? I look and I say, okay, well 90 is one of these quadrantals, it's on the axes, so it's this point right here, and the point right here that's represented is 0, 1. Okay, if you don't remember where these 0, 1 comes from, look at the last video. He explains it pretty well. So the point right here at 90 is 0, 1. So here it's 0, 1. And I know that my tangent is y over x. All right, so I'm going to use that idea. So I'm going to write y, and it's over x, which would be 1 over 0. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to think, well, wait a minute, I can't have 0 in the denominator. If I have 0 in the denominator, what that means is that's not a number. I can't divide by 0, so you have to finish this by telling me it's undefined. Okay, so that would be my answer for that guy. So tangent is always going to have kind of a weird answer. All right, if you go through and find all of these, you're going to find out that there's only a handful of answers that you can get for quadrantal angles. All right, so we see that we got 1, we got -1, we got undefined. There is one more option that we could have. So you can figure that one out. Okay, so that is the idea how we would use quadrantals. They're kind of, you just have to remember that cosine is my x, sine is my y, tangent is my y over x. All right, and then you got to remember the quadrantals are the ones that are where the axis hits the angle. All right, and these are the exact values. And thank you.